My name is Dr. Bond. I am the principal here at River Road Middle School, and we have just finished our NC check-ins. And what we have noticed across the board is that our kids have a deficiency in contextual information, reading those texts and being able to analyze it and answer those questions, or making inferences from the actual text that they're given. So what we have done is we've tasked our social studies and our science teachers with reinforcing some of those concepts. And we did it in a couple of different ways. Some of them are very quiet ways, some of them are more interactive ways. And what we have seen is that kids learn differently. So depending on what class they're in, we are trying to hit those different modalities so we can figure out what makes these kids tick, what makes them remember things, and what makes them retain that information to be able to use it in those tests.
My name is Anita Whitfield. I'm a 6th grade social studies teacher here at River Road. At the beginning of my class period, my students choose a book. They sit down, we read for 6 minutes a class period. At the end of the 6 minutes, they log what they're reading, so they have to log the day, the time, and the book and author that they're reading. My intention with doing this in the social studies classroom is to reinforce ELA for EOG testing. Students are having a hard time with fluency and reading and finding the plot and theme and things like that in their tested subjects. So by doing this with a book that they actually like and want to read, my hope is that they are able to transform that and when it comes time to take their EOG test. So if a student has chosen a historical fiction book, they should be able to find the theme or main idea of that historical fiction book, and when it comes time for them to read a fiction passage on the EOG test, it'll be a lot easier for them to identify what the main idea is in that passage. My hope is to transfer my love of reading to them, so they don't feel like they just have to read when it comes to a test, that they can pick up a book anytime and read whenever.
So I'm Ms. Podrasky. I am the 6th grade science teacher here at River Road Middle School. And today we are working on taking the abstract concept of seismic waves and transverse waves and longitudinal waves and making that concrete for all of our students using ropes and slinkies. Seeing the amount of energy they had to put in it for the number of waves that they made and how long it took and how that affected the speed of a wave really kind of brings that to life for them. And with this, they're working a lot on like context clues and inferences and things like that in ELA. And this is when they're actually seeing what's happening with these waves in the concrete aspect. Being able to pull that abstract information out is going to help them look at their reading a little bit different when they're reading and say, okay, so if I can pull this information and know that this is how this applies in science, I can find those keys that I need in ELA and pull that information out to help me answer those questions in ELA as well.
It is so important for our kids to actually like school. And more important, they need to be able to show that what we're teaching them while they're here is actually something that stays with them, that they can use later on in life or use to answer those questions once they get from the 6th grade to the 7th grade. We are really working on those lines that kind of coerce each other and come together for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade so that they can use the knowledge from one grade and they can build on it for the next grade. And so we're looking at those things that we can reinforce, that we can help make them remember, help make it stick with them, because that's what we see is that retention is an issue with these kids. So at River Road, we are trying our best and believing in the one belief, one focus, one goal that all of these kids can attain and be great in their futures.